Spirits of Vengeance, issue number 4 from Marvel Comics. So I've been pretty harsh on this series with my past reviews, and I still stand by everything that I've said. I will say that this issue is a step in the right direction. My biggest problem with this series so far is that it's been nothing but member berries, and the plot has basically been like turtle time. It's been slow as hell. Thankfully, we actually get more plot in this one. So we actually get Michael's origin story, Michael being the original host for Vengeance. And the story is that as a kid, he wanted to be a cop. First he goes to his dad and asks his dad if he can borrow his cop hat for Halloween. His dad happens to be a police officer. And his dad says that the uniform is not a costume. You got to earn the right to wear it. And he smacks the crap out of Michael. And I think he's dropping the gamer word here. He says, stop crying because I'm not raising any little bleep you hear. And then when 16 years pass, and Michael becomes a cop. And we see him talking with his sister. And his sister tells him that dad has been sober for 10 years. And that, you don't got to be doing this. You don't have to be a police officer just because of dad. And Michael says that, no, serving with the police is the only thing dad ever did that I actually admired. So it's my choice. And then we see him talking to his dad, who's still in the force. And basically, his dad's congratulating him, saying hey, the chief tells me he's giving you and Piper all the hard beats. Keep it up. You're on your way to making lieutenant. Michael's like, yeah, he told me you requested a quieter beat. And Michael's dad says, yeah, I'm getting old. Michael says, why don't you retire? And then the dad says, your hospital bills. Mike, you've helped me plenty. Let me do this while I still can. You look good in the uniform. I'm glad I didn't scare you off. And Michael says, and I'm proud of you, Dad. I know I never said that. I guess I didn't believe sobriety would stick, but I'm glad to be proven it wrong. So they've made up. They've made up for his dad being an absolute a-hole when he was younger. And we cut to his dad on the beat, and they get attacked they come across a fight between Ghost Rider and Blackout. And during the fight, the police car gets smashed up. Michael's dad gets out of the car and starts shooting at Blackout. And then Ghost Rider goes to chase after him, and Michael's dad says, stop. And Ghost Rider says, Blackout got away because of you. And I'm like, how did he get away because of him? When Blackout was running away, the dad was shooting at Blackout in the back. And you could say, well, the dad also put a gun on Ghost Rider. A gun isn't going to do jack to Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider could have kept on still chasing after Blackout. And it's not the cop's fault that Ghost Rider got hit by the cop car because, as you can see from the panel, Blackout is throwing Ghost Rider onto the car. So yeah, Ghost Rider just kind of comes across as a huge dick here. He basically says that your son has been trying to entrap me. Something is wrong. You smell like Mephisto. And the dad has no idea what the hell he's talking about. Even Mephisto shows up and says, I didn't do anything with this guy. I have no idea who he is. I haven't touched this man. Not yet, anyways. And Ghost Rider decides that it's going to be a good idea to burn him. Basically says, you have hurt innocent people. And the dad's like, yeah, I know I have. And he says, Mephisto seeks to use your darkness, but how I don't know. I cannot take the chance. Basically uses his flame breath to just burn this guy's face. And he survives. Which just begs the question of why the hell would Ghost Rider do that? You would think, if anything, use your penance stare. That would be one thing, make him relive all the hurt that he's done, even though, he's already tried to make up for that by being sober. Not that Ghost Rider would know, obviously, but still. It just seems very out of character for Ghost Rider to go and burn an innocent man's face. A police officer, of all people. Just because he smells a whiff of Mephisto on him. Even though Mephisto straight up appears and says, yeah, I never touched this man. Not yet anyways. You would think that Ghost Rider would be like, well, maybe I shouldn't do anything to this guy. Maybe I shouldn't do anything to make him go down the path of darkness. Or if you were going to do something, then just straight up kill him. But don't burn him and leave him alive. So then days pass and the dad gets back on drinking and shoving down pills. Because it's the only thing that numbs the pain from the burns. And eventually the dad snaps, attacks his daughter, ends up burning the house, and Michael shows up just in time to see the house on fire, and his mom and sister are dead. And his dad was arrested. And the dad's basically trying to say, hey, I loved your mother, I loved your sister, I've been sober for 10 years, you know that. I never go that far. You know it's not me. it was all the Ghost Rider's fault. And then Michael eventually goes and he meets up with Mephisto, and he says, I checked the reports, I interviewed my dad's partner, and my dad was telling the truth. Ghost Rider blasted him, fried his skin, drove him mad. That wasn't my dad. He says Ghost Rider had a role to play in my mom and sister's death, my dad going crazy. I'll give anything to get revenge on him. And that's how he became Vengeance. So that's his origin story. I'm like, okay, that's an interesting origin story. I'm still like, I don't know. Maybe I haven't read all of Volume 3 of Ghost Rider with Danny Ketch. So I don't know if this happens in the Danny Ketch run. I don't know if it happens in the Johnny Blaze run, or like if there was any mention for why Michael became Vengeance in the first place. It's been forever since I've read a lot of those old Ghost Rider comics. So my memory of the Ghost Rider lore is pretty fuzzy. As far as I know, Ghost Rider, or at least Johnny Blaze's Ghost Rider, never seemed the kind of guy that would go around and burn innocent people, especially police officers. Even if he smelled a whiff of sin on them, the most he would do is he would use the penance stare. But to boil a dude's skin off, basically, and leave him alive, that doesn't sound like a Ghost Rider thing. That sounds really just effed up. But we see Michael today, and he's basically just chased through the snow, captured, tied up, whipped. This is something that they've been doing to him for 6 months. They've just been torturing him. And the reason why they're torturing him is because they believe if they torture him enough, vengeance will come to save him, to save, his host. And Michael's like, yeah, no, I prayed. He's not going to come. And then we have this Japanese samurai dude who honestly looks pretty badass, but I can't help but laugh at his name. His name is Bento. You're going to name a Japanese samurai Bento? For anyone who doesn't know, a bento is pretty much like a Japanese lunchbox. That would be like having a French guy and naming him croissant. Like, you're going to name a Japanese dude Bento? I don't know. I just thought of all the names you could have given this badass looking dude, Bento's going to be the one that you give him. It sounds kind of like something like J.K. Rowling would come up with. But yeah, another weird thing that we get is we have an entire page where Michael basically retells his origin story. He says, your plan is to break me, but you can't break someone that's already broken. And then he explains his whole backstory about how he used to be a cop, yada yada. He saw things on the job. His dad went crazy, burned his sister. He made a deal to get vengeance. Basically stuff we literally just saw. I didn't care too much for this. I like the line, you can't break someone that's already broken. And then I would have just stopped the dialogue there. And you can just show flashes of his life and stuff. The images are fine. It's just, I wouldn't have him just saying what his origin story is when we literally just finished reading it. It's just, you don't need to tell us again. And I get it. He's telling it to this doctor, but it doesn't matter. You don't need to have him say it when we just saw it. It's just one of those things where it's kind of redundant. You're just repeating something that we all just saw. So I would have just had the line, you can't break someone that's already broken, and then go to, you guys made a mistake, the worst murderers in the world, and you all gathered in one place. I'm not the bait here, you are. And I would have cut everything else out and just have the images, because you don't need to retell what we just read. But it turns out that rather than Vengeance showing up, Johnny Blaze and Danny Ketch are the ones that show up. And there's more, but I'm going to stop it here because I don't want to spoil everything. I will say this still wasn't a great issue, but it is a step in the right direction. All the other issues before this, I just didn't care for because, again, just nothing but member berries and very little plot. At least we're getting a little bit more here, but I felt like you could have started with this. The name of this series is literally called Spirits of Vengeance, and Vengeance is supposed to be making his return. He's supposed to be the main character, and then Johnny and Danny are going to play a part in it. So you should have immediately started issue number 1 with Michael and his origin story and what is happening with him in his life at this moment in time. This should have been issue number 1, and you could have gotten rid of the other 3 issues. Or put them a little bit later. You could have had issue number 1, have the origin story, have Michael and all that, and then at the end of this issue, you could have had Vengeance waking up or whatever. And then issue number 2, you could have combined issues number 1, 2, and 3 with Johnny discovering, that there's something new to the Ghost Rider lore. And then he goes and he tells Danny about it. And Danny tells him about the graveyards burning. and then they believe that it's a message to like they have to find Michael because Michael's wife's graveyard is also burning on fire, and so that's when they show up to go help out Michael. Like they track him down. You could have had all that done in the first 2 issues, and then we could have just kept the plot going rather than waiting this long. Yeah, this issue was a step up from the previous 3, and hopefully the rest of the series continues to just improve, because like I said, like I haven't been a fan of the first 3 issues. I thought they were not the greatest. This issue is a lot better and is looking like it's setting the story back on the right track, and hopefully we get more like this in the coming future. Hopefully like issue number 5 will just continue, and we'll get less member berries and less just nothing with the plot. Like the plot's just been way too slow. As I said, this should have been issue number 1. It feels like I'm like just ragging on this series, but it's because I love the Ghost Rider so much. I love that whole, like, I don't want to say franchise because it's part of the Marvel universe, but I love that whole section of the Marvel universe, Ghost Rider and all that. So I want Ghost Rider to be great, and the first 3 just, it hasn't been all that good, but thankfully this one seems to be on the right track, and hopefully it continues on. Anyways, I'm rambling at this point. There's issue number 4 from Marvel Comics. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you next time. Take care. Later. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't, I still want to thank you for watching it this far, and I hope the next one is more to your liking. With that said, thank you once again, and I hope you guys and gals have a good one. Later.